fire up the old red rocket. Welcome to Pennsylvania. A little dreary out today. Hopefully the rain holds off. Keep our fingers crossed. Never know this weather up here. And round 4, Formula Drift at Lake Erie Speedway, FDERIE, I believe is what we're calling this one. Yo, you get that? As most of you know, we've had some power steering issues throughout the year. Like 99.9, those are all figured out. So we got a new Bink Industry subframe in it, moved the rack a lot forward, and we opened up, played around with some power steering stuff that we got all figured out, and finally got this car working. So I thought, second run in, I was chasing Vaughn, and 3/4 of the way around the bank, the steering literally locked up, like locked. I had no clue what was going on. My next thought in my head was like, this is gonna hurt. And hold on. So I was holding on, and we took it right to the wall. The front right hit first. And as you can see, she's dirty. She's a little beat up, but she's back together. My crew chief Nick Snyder and car chief Justin Tambasco, we call him Hot Sauce, and Randy Fuller here, my crew this weekend, really busted their butts in time to get the car back out for qualifying. We got everything back together, and the car's feeling awesome. Yeah, so yesterday, as I mentioned, when we first arrived, I was hoping the rain would hold off. It didn't. So that added another variable to not driving yesterday while the car was getting fixed. So rain was coming down. Fortunately, we got one practice lap in before qualifying, and that made all the difference in the world. And you know, we put it together and got I think the score was either 78 or 79. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it got us in the show. I think we're ended up being 21st, going against Josh Reynolds and Eurofighter BMW in top 32. And now we're ready for Saturday to get in some dry weather running, and we have a driver's meeting. We got another practice session, practice warm up, and then we're going in top 32 competition starting at 3:30.
Ready to send it here for round 4 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship here at Lake Erie Speedway. Keeping the party going from North Carolina, standing on the hood of his S chassis and Juker Racing, BC Racing Federal Tires S chassis, it is Jonathan Nairn. Excited to see Jonathan Nairn, who's changing vehicles from last year to this year. These guys, you can see the numbers there. Josh Reynolds qualifying 12th compared to Nairn qualifying 21st. But that was in the wet. How are they going to handle the dry? Reynolds will lead, Nairn will give chase. As they make their way through the start chicane, let's see what Reynolds got for Nairn. Already a gap being created, but Reynolds keeps it high. You can see that. Nairn some wavering and middle of the line, middle of the bank. Reynolds taking that wide line. Nairn has to check up now to the second outside zone. Both these guys a little sloppy coming into that final outside zone. Let's see if they can tighten it up as Nairn, I believe, doesn't get all the way out. Going to take a different perspective with that. You can see that smoke signal getting in the way, Ryan. Here is Nairn getting the fresh, clean air out front. Not so fresh, still some smoke in the sky, but the wind is whipping, so it's nice how it's clearing it out. All right, Nairn, Manji entry in front of Reynolds. Nairn looking a lot more comfortable out front. Don't even see the back half of that car. Turns on the smoke machine. Middle line, that's where you properly want to go, as Nairn looking a lot more comfortable out front. Now coming in transition to that final outside zone. Reynolds, you see, makes a quick correction there. Ryan, lead versus lead, chase versus chase. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Slide left for Reynolds, right for Jonathan Nairn. It looks like Jonathan Nairn will get the victory, unfortunately. And it looks like we are good to go. Matt Soap making sure they're ready to go. Again, there's that light. See the cylinders illuminating. Once extinguished, you are good to go. There we go. Dylan Hughes in that first outside zone had an opportunity to have him up here in the booth and take a different perspective. Look at Nairn. Slides right up to the side of Dylan Hughes. Here comes Hughes. Now let's see how he handles transition. This has been a real big issue with all the drivers, looks like. All right, so as Dylan Hughes slides into that second outside zone, Nairn comes in. You see a quick little checkup, but then they both slingshot out of that second outside zone. We are hearing Jonathan Nairn calling a competition timeout. So that is a competition timeout. He's, from what we understand, he lost his supercharger belt. You can see the 5-minute clock there. Kevin Wells holding that. We're in Jonathan Nairn's pit. So Jonathan Nairn still up on stand, taking a look, making sure clearance is good, as again he blew off his supercharger belt. You can recall the Nairn-Hughes battle. We'll probably play the BC Racing side-by-side instant replay as Nairn goes into that first outside zone. Great angle from Nairn. Remember, he lost his supercharger belt, but it seems to be all super there. Now coming into that second outside zone, both of them very fluid. Look at Dylan Hughes really applying the pressure. And Nairn into that last and final outside zone. And you can see Dylan, oh wow, across the finish line. Things got really interesting there.
So my buddy Mike Perino, he made this fancy shirt holder. He's actually got his shirt down here too, but he gets to show off our team shirts, which are amazing. We got black and red, but shout out to Mike for making this for the team. It was a pretty exquisite piece, I must say. Thank you. Fancy work, Mike. Thanks, Mike. So many of you may or may not know, but this is Nick Snyder, my crew chief, owner of Throttle Junkie. He is amazing. We've been together for almost 10 years. Going on 10 years now. So he's the man behind the magic, where it all happens. His shop, tuning, building, fabricating, everything. You don't see him very much, but Nick Snyder, I love him, and he's my crew chief. Make it happen. He makes everything happen, for sure. Funny story, we actually met, we were engineers together at Husqvarna R&D facility, and I was just trying to get him out of a drift event. He was, I don't know, we were working, and I had a drift event that weekend, told him to come out, his first ride in my drift car blew the engine that day. So
Yep.
from there on, he was like, we got to get you fixed up and running and like get this thing proper. And now, like I said, that was probably 10 years ago, every bit of it.
V8 ever since?
And V8 ever since. So he came into play and we started winning. So that's how it happens. You get Nick on your team, you win. And he's not for sale. All right, guys, wrap it up. It's nighttime. The event is over. We got to watch some, probably more than we liked, but we had a great weekend. It started off very tough. It was changing conditions. Showed up. It was dry, and first run of the weekend, like I said, we've had power steering issues a lot this year, and we finally worked through them. But we did work through them. Power steering felt great. Car felt the best ever felt. Second run, we going against Vaughn. We had a different power steering issue, which locked the steering wheel up. It was actually the steering link was hitting the header. So coming out of like 3/4 way through the first turn, steering wheel binded, and I literally couldn't physically turn it. It was a hard lock, and I went straight into the wall. I knew it wasn't gonna be good. I was like, this is gonna hurt. Just let go of the wheel and let it do its thing. Luckily, the parts did what they needed to do. They crumbled and didn't hurt the chassis. We pretty much had to replace everything on the car on the front right. But the team killed it, got it back up and running, and we were able to make second practice when it was raining. Got through the rain, got one practice session in. Car felt awesome. It was back to where it should have been, where it was last year, and I'm just like really beyond elated to have a car that's working right now. And went to qualifying, got a good run. We had third run of the whole weekend. We laid down a 78 or 79, put us in 21st spot.
In the rain.
In the rain. And excuse me, brought us to running Josh Reynolds, I believe.
Yeah.
Josh Reynolds, and I think it's a BMW. I think it's a Eurofighter. I'm not sure. It's built like it. If it is, it's a pretty sweet ride. Seeing him top 32 competition today, Saturday, and he's that car is fast and can really go hard. So I knew it wasn't gonna be an easy top 32 battle. Anyway, Nick just does what he always tells me to do and just drive hard. Such and such words that we can't say. So we did, and took on the victory, top 32. It felt so good. This was our first win of the season. We were able to make it top 16, able to make it to top 16 ceremonies, which is phenomenal. That's just really pumps you up, and it's a really good feeling, and I was just glad to be there. Top 16, we've seen Dylan Hughes again. We've seen Dylan last round at Jersey in the rain. This round is a little different. We're in the dry. His car's fast, so we played some strategy, took the car up some more. I watched his run to see how he drove. His initiation was a little funny. He initiates in and got slowed down on brake, and that can really dictate how the rest of the run goes. If somebody slows down that bank, you really need to carry momentum through the bank. And when he initiated, slowed down as I expected him to, where my timing was just like, I don't know, a quarter of a second off because I had to slow down too. Once I slowed down, it put me a little bit lower on the bank chasing him. And then going off the bank into outer zone 2, he transitioned and was real lazy and didn't get back on throttle. And he just kind of coasted through half the outer zone 2 and didn't pick up back on throttle until literally halfway in outer zone 2, which caused me, I surged on him at that transition. I surged on him, slowing down, waiting for him to pick back up on throttle, and he never did, which caused me to go kind of outside in the zone and touch my left front, touch his right rear, and made me have a lot of angle through my line off. And when I jumped back on, he'd already took off at that point, so created a gap. And coming off the run, I felt like I lost power steering. I couldn't turn the steering wheel, so we pulled back in the pits, caught our 5 minutes. So as I thought, I lost a serpentine belt, losing my power steering. So when I pulled off, it was really tight, and we ended up thinking I think I just boiled the fluid. We're gonna get back to the lab and check that out, and make sure it's all good. But when we pulled into the pits, we just drained some of the hot fluid out and put as much fresh in as we could, cycled it around, and after calling 5 minutes, we got back out there, had some steering back. It was a little nerve-wracking. You hucked the car into that first turn, at whatever mile an hour fast, and you don't know if you have power steering or not is, it's nerve-wracking. Like I said, I don't know. You don't know how it's going to pan out, but it worked out. I had a great lead run. I feel like I was, not as deep as I wanted to be in some of the zones, but regardless, it was a great lead run. Gave a good run for Dylan to chase, and he did this that. He had a really good chase run behind me, and judges ended up giving Dylan a win. And here we are. But it was the first time we ever came here. I'm very happy with our weekend. We got the car working, and rightfully so. We put in the effort, and it's here it is performing. So we're looking forward to our next round at Evergreen Speedway. I got the car working as it should now, and we're just looking forward to it.